Welcome. We're so glad to see you. We are just so grateful that you have signed up to be a part of our Debt Payoff Power Circle. And we're really proud of you for taking that first step because we both know it can be scary. And a lot of times it's easier to just put it off to later or avoid it. But that is actually adds to our problem rather than helping us take action to move forward. So congratulations on being here. If you're watching play later, no problem. We're going to give all the links to you here and we're going to walk you through some things and how the circle's going to go. So basically what's going to happen for the next 6 weeks starting today, each Sunday there will be a new post in the community and it will let you know a couple of things. It will let you know what the theme is, what we're working on that week. It's also going to let you know when the call is that week, which we're going to kind of try to crowdsource and see if we can get some of you in a time that will work for you to schedule. Otherwise, we'll just record them and post them. And it will also have your little bit of homework for the week, okay? We've made one easy doc that we'll show you here in a minute that will just have the homework for each week. So you know what we're working on and what we need you to do because we are offering this to you. We are supporting you, we're cheering you on, but ultimately you are the one that's going to need to do the work to get that debt paid off. We know you can do it, and we know that accountability and doing this together is going to really be helpful. Okay. Another part of the circle, besides the weekly calls and the Sunday posts, is our WhatsApp accountability group. Thank you for those of you that have already joined. We're going to add you to that group today and then send out our initial message about this first week. But really, that's a space for you to ask questions. Okay, get our personalized answers as well as cheer each other on. Okay, a big part of this is going to be us cheering each other on. So the more willing in that small group of people that have all said, I'll keep this private, the more willing you are to say, hey, this is my goal for the week. I'm going to do this. The more we can cheer you on and the easier it actually is going to be for you to do it. Okay, so that's a really important piece. If you haven't signed up for that yet, we'll give you the links here again in this with this replay. And then what we're going to do today and for this week is we're really getting honest with our debt. Okay, we really need to start looking at those numbers and making an action plan. This is all about planning and then following through on that plan. We're also going to write ourselves a little note to open at the end of the 6 weeks. Okay, anything I forgot there, Jen,
The only
about
thing I
how
would
it
say
works?
is if you're watching this and you're participating via email and you're not in the community, the posts that Sybil talked about putting in the community, those will just come to you via email. So any
Perfect.
link, anything like that is just going to come to your email. So you'll still be able to access everything the same way. It'll just be community versus email.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. That's right. We do have a couple options with how you can participate in our power circle. And what is a power circle? It's really just a community of women working together on the same goal. And that goal for us for the next 6 weeks is making a debt payoff plan and actually starting to pay off that plan before it ends in 6 weeks. So just real quick, this is the document that we'll link for you. Each week, we will just add the homework for the week. Okay, remember this is about you taking action. And so you can come here and look at it. If you are a part of the community, you will also see in the monthly themed challenge. Let me show you real quick right here, monthly themed challenges. You're going to go here, and the first folder is our newest challenge, the debt payoff circle. So this is information about today's call with the homework link, and then each week we'll add a week, and this will just take you to the post that was posted each Sunday in the community. Okay, but the nice thing about it being here in the classroom is that you can get to all the weeks in one spot. Okay, but we will also pin them here in the community. And so are we ready to get started? Teaching them about our first amazing tool, our
I think
snowball
so.
debt calculator?
Let's do it.
Okay. So on the stock and also in the posts and the email, wherever you're seeing this replay, you're just going to make yourself a copy of this calculator. And Jen and I are going to walk you through it. Should we talk a little bit? Jen, can you talk a little bit about what the snowball debt method is?
Yeah, so there are two main uh, forms of debt payoff, if you will. I don't know if forms is the right word, but kind of styles or ways to do it. The first one is debt avalanche. And with a debt avalanche, what you do is pay off your highest interest rate first and then move your way down to the lowest interest rate. This makes really good financial sense because obviously, if you're paying a higher interest rate, you're paying back more money ultimately over time, right? But what we think is easier, it's easy, it like is a little more motivating.
More motivating for sure.
And also, if you're dealing with a bunch of credit cards, even two credit cards, oftentimes now the interest rate on our credit cards is very similar, right? We don't have a lot of varied interest rates. I would say most of them are falling somewhere between like 26 and 30%. So it's really, really close. So the debt snowball calculator is the one we recommend. If you somehow have one debt that has a crazy high interest rate, you might want to pay that one off first, like if it's significantly higher than the others. But as a general rule, we think the debt snowball calculator is the way to go. And how that one works is rather than focusing on interest rate, it focuses on balance size. So what you do is pay off your lowest balance first. Once the lowest balance is paid off, you move on to the next lowest balance. And then as those get paid off, you take the money that you were putting towards those and combine it to the next one so that it becomes this snowball where every time one debt gets paid off, you've got more and more money going towards the larger or the larger debt totals, like the larger balances. So it really becomes motivating because you can start crossing those smaller ones off quickly and putting that money towards those next highest balances. Hello. If you are, well, not if, you are watching this and this is a little splice in that we did. We had a little bit of an error when we were recording live. So we wanted to correct it. So I apologize because I know that this didn't just like edit in seamlessly. So that's why we're just going to re-explain the debt snowball calculator glitch free this time for you. So you will start at the top there after you saved your copy and enter the start date. So if you like starting at the beginning of the month, you're like a first kind of person, you can put May 1st, or you can just start the day it is, whatever works for you. That enter currency box, this is dollars, like American dollars, Canadian dollars, whatever. And then additional monthly payments, we're going to come back to that. So across, it'll calculate this row for you. So your debt balance, your minimum payments, your end date, your total interest paid, that's all going to automatically populate for you after you fill in this debt information at the bottom. So Sybil's just going to fill out a sample debt. Let's call her Penny. These are like Penny's debts, and so that you can get a picture of what this looks like. So you're going to fill out your debt names there. These are things like credit cards, lines of credit, if you've borrowed money from somewhere or someone and you're paying interest on it and you want to get it paid off. If you have a really high interest rate on a car or anything that's like not just a normal, low, regular interest rate, like a mortgage or whatever. You're going to put the name, you're going to put your current total balance, and you're going to put your annual interest rate. So most interest rates right now on credit cards are like 26 to 30%. So they're really high, and you want to make sure that you get that in there. You will find it right on your statement. So whether you use paper statements or online, it's all really easy for you to find right there. And then you're going to find on your statement your minimum monthly payment. This is going to be a low number. It's usually under 100, depending on the size of your debt. But you're going to just put the minimum monthly payment due each month. And then what you will see happen as Sybil's filling this out is that things are going to start changing at the top. So the debt balance is going to start to reflect the numbers that she has typed in here. The minimum payments is the total amount of minimum payment that is required by her 3 credit cards. And the end date is if she were just to pay the minimum payment and not add any more debt to these cards, right? Don't use them anymore. She would have them paid off in Penny in June 2029, and Penny would pay $3,000 just in interest. That's not even for the sweater she used the card to pay for, right? That's just her interest. And so it's showing you there on the right, what Sybil has highlighted now is that it is 50 months until that debt is paid off. So part of what we're going to work on here with this 6-week power circle is we're going to work on finding a little bit of money in our budget so that we can add additional monthly payments. So Penny has to pay $150 a month to stay current on her bills. But let's say that Penny actually has another $100 in her budget that she can contribute toward her bills. So she's going to add that $100 there in the box for her additional monthly payments. And what you'll do is you will see that total interest paid just went way down. It went from $3,000 to $1,300 because she's going to have it paid off so much faster. Instead of 50 months, it's going to be paid off in 23 months. And how this works, if you can click on Debt 1 tab for me, Sybil, you're going to take your minimum payment plus all of your extra money and put it towards your smallest debt. As that gets paid off, you'll see that's only going to take 4 months to get that smallest one paid off. We're going to wipe that one clean. And then we're going to take all the money that we were putting toward debt number 2, and we're going to add it to the minimum payment we were already making. And look at that. By January of 2026, we're going to wipe that second one clean. It's going to be done. And then we're going to take all of that extra payment. See, our payment is snowballing now. It's getting much bigger. And we'll start adding it to that minimum monthly payment. And then by March of 2027, we will have those debts paid off and we will be living debt free. So now this takes several things into account. This is taking into account that you can continue to do that $100 extra every month. If you pay more, it's going to pay off faster. If you use your cards and add to that balance, it's obviously going to take longer. So that's part of creating a plan and being really realistic about that additional monthly amount. If $100 is stretching you and you end up putting your last week of groceries every month on your credit card, then that's too much, right? And you need to make some alterations. But if you realize, you know what, I can actually cut back a little bit on some of my spending and you can increase that monthly payment, it'll just pay off even faster. So why we love this calculator is because it's very visual. It shows you exactly where you need to be putting your money every single month, how much the payment should be, and then when it'll be paid off. I find it really motivating. It's not even my debt, and I get so excited for Penny or whoever's filling this out when I'm like, Penny, it was 29 months and now it's only 18. Like that to me is so exciting. And if it was me, I would just feel really motivated to find every extra dollar in my budget to change. To make that additional monthly payment change. And one last thing I want to say that is really important is you can all modify this additional monthly payment every month. So if 1 month you actually need to cut back a little, you could mark it down to 25 and then the next month go back up. That's why we like this calculator, because you can get in there and change and modify it as you need to. Again, if your balance goes up or whatever, however you need to, it's really easy to modify.
Yeah, you'll just come in here and modify the date and the payment, and then it will show you what you need to pay each month from that point forward on each card. Because don't forget, you're still paying the minimums on cards 2 and 3 when you're paying off 1. Okay.
Right.
Make sure you pay those minimums.
That's right. Don't not pay. That's a really
Don't
important
not
part.
pay, right? You still got the minimum here, and then now we're going to focus more on this one. And we're still got the minimum here, right? Now we're going to focus more on this one. Okay.
And this calculator will allow you to enter up to 15 debts. So if you've only got 2, no problem. Just use 2 lines and those 2 tabs. If you've got 12, we've got room for it on here. So it should work for everybody.
Yep. And then troubleshooting, I'm just realizing what the glitch might have been. And it was that I didn't have a percentage sign here when I changed my percentages. So make sure that you have a percentage sign there. I actually had to input that one. That's why it looks a little different. So know that you need to make sure that it has that percentage sign to make all of these calculations work accurately. Okay. And then the other important thing is when are you going to start making that additional payment, changing this if you do change an additional payment as well. Okay. So that is the debt snowball calculator. Okay. And what we want you to do this week is to make your own copy and fill in your debts, which credit cards, whatever debts you have. Think about, can I add more additional payment or not? But play with the numbers. We'll have them working for you. And then that's your first main piece. So why, Jen, is it so important that we get to know these numbers and we actually start making this plan? Like, can we talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So here's why I think it's really important. First of all, you just really have to be honest with yourself about how much debt you have. It is really tempting to just like pretend it doesn't exist, close your eyes to it, put your blinders on, and not think about it. But the truth is, if we're really familiar with our numbers, we know exactly where we are. It helps us make informed decisions. It makes it easier for us to make those kind of short term sacrifices of finding additional income or cutting back on spending in certain places because we know making those small changes, we can see on this debt calculator once it's working properly, it'll be very obvious to you how even adding $25 a month or $30 a month will make a big difference in your overall payment time, your interest amount. So really being familiar with those is going to help you be honest. It's going to help you motivate to make those little changes. And it just help you stay focused because you'll
Yeah.
be able to see the progress.
And we're all doing this together, right? And we're going to be talking about it, like how's it going? And yeah. So the second thing we want you to do is basically write a letter to yourself. Okay, so just get a piece of note paper, try to find an envelope because you will want to seal this up and write it as for you're going to open it in 6 weeks. Okay, so dear future self, I am so proud of you, Sybil, for making a debt payoff plan and making your first extra payment or making your first payment, even if it's the minimum payment, right? You are going to keep doing this, and eventually your debt will all be paid off. Keep up the great work. Something like that, okay? Because the idea is you're going to write that down now. You're putting it out there that you're making a plan. You're going to stick to it. And in 6 weeks, you're going to get to open it up and think about how amazing it will feel to see that 6 weeks ago you made this decision and you're actually doing it and moving forward. Okay, so seal that note to yourself up. If you have a cute note card or a nice note card, it makes it even more special. Seal it up, put it somewhere where you can find it in 6 weeks. And then we'll come back to that at the end of our power circle. So that's really your homework for the week is those two things. One, fill out the snowball debt calculator, and two, write a letter to your future self saying, good job, you did it. You've got this, keep going. Okay, because in 6 weeks, your debts are most likely not going to all be paid off. So acknowledge you did it and acknowledge that you need to keep going to motivate yourself.
And also, I
Okay.
think it's okay if you've got some specific goals in mind, things you're hoping to have like done in these next 6 weeks. Like maybe there's some things you were hoping to sell to like make a larger payment towards your debt, or you're like, I really need to create a budget. I've never done that before, and I really want to use this 6 weeks to do that. Like if you've got some goals or some specific things that you want to work on, put those in your letter as well. Like, hey, I hope you did this. My goal is that when you're reading this, we've made this happen. I think that that's
Yeah.
okay too.
I think it's a great idea because research shows when you write something down, you're more likely to do it and follow through. That feedback from the pencil or pen to the brain is really, really powerful for actually doing it. Things. Also, the weekly posts that went out today and that will go out every Sunday have journaling prompts for you and mantras. Okay. And those mantras are kind of like writing down this letter, like say them out loud, write it on a sticky note, have it in front of you, right? The more this is in your brain that you're doing this and that you are capable and worthy of doing this, the easier and more likely you will do that. So that's what a lot of this circle is about too, is just we're going to talk about it constantly. We're going to message in the WhatsApp. We're going to have a couple posts in the group throughout the week. We're going to have these weekly calls so we can actually do it.
That's right.
Okay, we're not just talking about it, we're actually doing it.
Yep. That we're taking action. That's what the power circle is all about. Like supporting each other. It's like a little support group to
Yeah.
take the action that we need and learn some of the strategies that are going to help us be successful.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have any questions, put them in the community if you're in there. Email us back if you're on the email group. Put them in the WhatsApp accountability circle, wherever you want. Ask your questions. Let's cheer each other on. Let's do this.
All right. Thank you so much. And we will see you soon.
Sounds good. Bye.